The existing Land Acquisition Act is more than a century old, and it's lost its relevance in the current context. The new bill introduced in Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha and passed with an overwhelming majority is driven by the need for a participative and transparent process, two, for a just and adequate compensation for the landowners, and rehabilitation and resettlement of all the affected people, not only the landowners, but those whose livelihood depends on the land. The objectives of the Act cannot be disputed. Clearly, I think this is the call of the hour, particularly if you see the considerable public outrage on recent land acquisitions. However, could the bill be more facilitative for development? Could it be more pragmatic? Is a question that we need to answer. Well, the industry concerns essentially are around two factors. One is the time and second is cost. The bill specifies a very elaborate process for acquisition, which also monitoring by several agencies including the district, state and government, a significant multi-stage consultation with the affected people, the landowners and the Gram Sabhas, and often consent of almost 80% of the affected people. Now, this is going to take at least a couple of years, if not more. So, time would become a significant factor. The other is cost. The benchmark compensation that the government has stipulated, which is 4 times the market value or up to 4 times the market value in rural areas and up to 2 times the market value in urban areas, is going to make land very expensive. Couple of minor concerns as well. For instance, restriction on acquisition of agricultural land would mean that there could be hindrance in mineral extraction, there could be hindrance in urban expansion, there could be restrictions on development of urban infrastructure around the cities like utilities or educational institutions and so on and so forth. One other area that often baffles me is about the fact that the bill specifies the same process for large or small projects. Now, which means that small projects will take the same amount of time to acquire land, and this would mean that even minor projects would get delayed significantly. There is of course some leeway with the state governments to define the threshold for small projects, but we don't know how it will pan out. Well, I think the ongoing projects are in fairly deep trouble. If they have not completed the acquisition process and have not taken possession of the land, they will have to go back to the drawing board and start the process all over again. This means that they are pushed back another couple of years or so. The other area of concern for existing projects is if they have surplus land earmarked for expansion, and if they do not utilize it within a certain time frame, they will have to surrender that land. Sure, I think land as a factor of production would clearly become dearer, both in terms of time and cost. Even if the projects can plan for absorbing the cost, the delay in acquisition would mean that the development would be much slower than it has been in the past. This doesn't augur well for an already sluggish economy that we are in at the moment.